Good morning, fifth graders. Today is lesson 4.3. You are going to be working on finding missing parts using similarity to find measurements. We'll start by going over your work from yesterday or from 4.2, whenever you did that. In question A, you should have found that triangles A, C, and D are similar because the corresponding angle measures were congruent. The corresponding ratios for adjacent side lengths within each triangle are the same. And then there's a little note there that you're welcome to read. For B1, triangles A, C, and D, the ratio of short to long were 4 to 8, 6 to 12, and 10 to 20, which were all equal to half. For triangle B, the ratio was 9 to 13, and that's how you would know that it was not similar with the others. For triangles A, C, and D, the ratios of short to middle were 4 to 7, 6 to 10.5, and 10 to 17.5, which all equal about 5.7 or 0.57, 57 hundredths. B2, the corresponding ratios of adjacent side lengths of similar triangles are all equal. In the case of A and B, you could mistakenly think the shortest sides correspond with each other and the longest sides correspond with each other. However, looking at the ratio for the short side to the long side for triangle A, 4 to 8, versus triangle B, you can see that they are not the same. Typically for non-similar triangles, all possible ratios of two sides will result in different values. However, it's possible, for some ratios to be equivalent and some non-equivalent, like an isosceles triangle with an equivalent triangle. For triangles to be similar, all corresponding ratios must be equivalent. For triangles to be non-similar, at least one is not equivalent. So see, if you did, the middle to 3 to 6 and 3 to 6, you'd think it was equal, but actually with the 3 to 4, it's not equal. All right, in question C, you may find various ways to calculate the scale factor. The factor from A to C was 1.5, C to A was 2/3. A to D is 2.5, D to A is 0.4. C to D was 5/3, and D to C is 0.6. In question D, the scale factors are 1.5 from A to C, 2.5 from A to D, and 5/3 from C to D. These scale factors can be different from one another for different pairs of similar triangles. They indicate the amount of stretching or shrinking from one triangle to another. All right, so in today's lesson, we're going to be talking about missing parts. When two figures are similar, you can find missing links in two ways. One method would be to use the scale factor, and the other would be to use the ratios. So I put down two rectangles here, and we could find we could find missing links by using the scale factor by doing 2 times what makes 3, which is the same as 4 times what makes 6. So the scale factor here is 1.5, I believe. Or you could find the ratio 2 to 4 is the same as 3 to 6. Yes, it was 1.5. I had to double check my math. All right, so looking at your work here, in questions A and B, each pair of figures is similar. Find the missing side lengths. Explain how you know your answer is correct. So here we have two different triangles. They're telling us they're similar. The thing you have to be careful of is that you're comparing the correct side with the correct side, right? So this triangle has been rotated. So you'd need to compare the long side with the long side. And you could use that to find the scale factor, or you could use the ratio. Same thing here. These rectangles are not on the same base. One has been rotated. In question C, it says, the figures below are similar. Find the missing measurements. Explain how you knew. So here they want the missing angles as well. What do you know about parallelograms? You should know that the kitty corner sides, or the opposite sides here, these opposite angles are equal. So that would tell you that this angle here is also 68. The other thing you should know is that the angle sum of a parallelogram is 360 degrees. So if you know that the total has to be 360, you use 68, 68 to determine what the total of D and F would be, right? And if I told you that those two angles were equal to each other, 68 and E, that would mean that D and F are also equal to each other. So with all that information, you should be able to figure out the missing angles. Additionally, notice this one has been rotated, or this one has been rotated, whichever way, they're not sitting on the same side. In question D, it says the figures below are similar. Each side length is in centimeters. Find the value of X. X is this little one here, right? Explain how you found it. Find the value of Y. Y is this one. Explain how you found it. Are you using scale factor or are you using ratios? Find the area and the perimeter of one of the figures, and then use your answer to part 3 and the scale factor. Find the area and the perimeter of the other figure. Explain. So again, you should be able to find a scale factor between these two. You may have to use a calculator to do that. And then for homework, you will have questions 17, 18, 19 through 24. And that is your work for today. Tomorrow's lesson is nice and short, so you may want to choose to do that additionally today. You can look at it and see. And I'll talk a little bit more about our end of the year plan in my next video or in my announcement tomorrow. Have a great day.